Shall we begin?
Anyway, what's your opinion on how the Middle East was the most developed, advanced regions, and after Islam took over, it was, well, Islam, wherever Islam goes, Islam destroy. You see, the Muslim, they say to you, do you know that civilization when Europe was in the Dark Ages?
School books and books which we read in college, you'll read there that from 8th to the 12th century, it was the Dark Ages. Dark for whom? It was dark for the Europeans, not for the world. The Arabs and the Muslims were very much advanced from the 8th to the 12th century. They were very much advanced.
Ages. My friend, the Dark Ages of Europe was 1 billion times than the golden ages of the Middle East, as they claim. The golden age of the Middle East was what? Was the Muslims and the Arab invading every country, bringing the wealth and the money they steal from Persia, from India, from Syria, from Iraq. This is the golden age. They say to you that, let me count for you how many Muslim scientists was in the golden age. My friend, all the Muslim scientists, they call them, they are not Muslims, and most of them, they are killed for they are considered apostate.
And technology what we had from 8th to 12th century, what discoveries the Muslim scientists made, it's unbelievable. Today, because science is advanced, we're making so many discoveries. There, with the amount of limited facility we had, the amount of discoveries Muslim scientists made, it's unbelievable.
In the time of their life, they were harassed, they were killed, they were beaten to death, and now they are calling them scientists. In the time of their life, who do they call? They call them scientists. They were not considered Muslims.
The Europeans, they later on picked up the books of the Muslims and rehashed it and said, we discovered it. See, if you see the discovery that Muslims have made. For example, if you know of Al-Kindi, he was a philosopher, a mathematician, an astronomer.
They were not considered Muslims. You know Ibn Khaldun? You know the philosopher Ibn Khaldun? The Muslims are so proud about him. Do you know what Ibn Khaldun he said?
About these laws, I want to introduce one of the best people in the history of humanity who talked about these laws. His name is Ibn Khaldun, rahimahullah ta'ala. Ibn Khaldun was born in Tunis and died in Egypt.
He said that the Arab are savage and they are willing to burn a library or a palace to take the wood and the pages to cook on them. So what they call them scholars, and they are proud about them, actually those people, they were harassed, they were killed, they are considered not Muslims, and actually most of them, they are not even Muslims. They left Islam. There's a very, very big scholar in Islam. His name is Abu Bakr al-Razi. Abu Bakr al-Razi.
Muhammad Zakaria Razi, he was famous in medicine. He was authority on the field of smallpox and measles.
This guy, al-Razi, in the beginning of his life was trying like a crazy to defend Islam. I can tell he was a believer. Then this guy, he left Islam. And he said clearly, my find is very simple. Allah did not create anything. He cannot be the creator. Here we go. Al-Razi, 606 after Muhammad. This guy is a big name. He is a scientist. He is a scholar in Islam. He is. And every Muslim is so proud about Al-Razi. Now, if we go and search in Google, who is Al-Razi? You will be surprised. And this is an article actually made by Muslims. Look what the article is saying. Why the following scientist was killed? And he start counting the names. لماذا قتل الرازي? He was killed. And Al-Khwarizmi, he was killed, and Al-Kindi, he was killed, and Al-Farabi, and he was killed. And those are the greatest names in the history of what the Muslims, they call them Islamic scientists. The answer is simple. They are atheists. Not only that, by the way, you know, all of those, they call them scientists, they suffer a lot. Al-Ghazali, Ibn Rushd, Al-Asqalani, Al-Sahrudi, Ibn Hayyan, etc. They've been tortured, they've been killed, they've been, you know, jailed, they've been beaten. All of this because they are not Muslims. But Muslims now, they publish tons of articles about the glorious time of Islam. Those people, they were humiliated because of Islam. And Muslims refuse to consider them as Muslims all those centuries. Now, they want to prove to you that Islam is a religion of science. So they start quoting their names. You see, the founder of Apple company, his father was Syrian, his real father, but this guy, he did not grow in a Muslim family, and he's not Muslim. Trust me, in 20 years from now, the Muslim, they will say he's a Muslim. In 50 years from now, they may make a book about him, a great Muslim scientist who created the first iPhone. But this guy, he don't give a garbage about Islam. In this article, they count for you how someone like Al-Ma'arri, he was jailed, how Ibn Hayyan was killed, how Ibn al-Munammar was exhorted, or let us say deported, how they burned the library of Al-Ghazali, and they burned the library of Ibn Rushd, and they burned the library of Al-Asfahani, and they accused him of their faith, and how Al-Farabi was accused to be a kafir, same as Al-Razi, same as Ibn Sina, same as Al-Kindi, same as Al-Ghazali. Who's left? One of the greatest writers in the history of the Middle East, his name is Ibn al-Muqaffa. Any one of you heard of the book? It's called the Thousand Night and Night. Anyone remember this book? The Thousand Night and Night. You heard it before? This is the guy who wrote it. Do you know what they did to him? You will not believe it. They accuse him to be kafir, and then they cut his feet and his hands, and at the end they cut his head. But today they speak about the amazing Ibn al-Muqaffa. Who can write like Ibn al-Muqaffa? I agree, this guy is an amazing writer. This guy is an amazing writer. There's no question about that. They will not tell you what they did to them. They are not Muslims, they are out of Islam, and they were killed for that reason, and they tortured them. They cut his hands, they cut his feet, they crucify him, they cut his head. And now they are proud about them. Do you see how hypocrite they are? There's another scholar, his name Ajad ibn Durham. They cut his head. I'm just reading the article, by the way. It's in front of me. Those who speak Arabic, they know it. I can give you the article actually in Arabic. You can use Google translation if you wish. All those who they are called the highest scholars of Islam, they've been killed. They are not Muslims. There's a guy, his name is Lisanuddin Ibn al-Khatib. Not only they killed him, they burned his body. There's another scientist, his name Ibn al-Farid. They chase him and he run. Nobody knows where he go. One of the most bigger names of history in the Middle East, or let's say historian and the researcher, his name is As-Saharudi. He was killed. Even the Muslim scholars of the Muslim Sunni, you see, the Muslim Sunni have 4 sects. The Muslim Sunni have 4 sects. One of them, his name is Ibn Hanbal. Ibn Hanbal, this is their scholar. I mean, this is not a joke. This is a Muslim guy. This is for sure a Muslim. This is not an atheist. This guy, Ibn Hanbal, is not an atheist. He is a Muslim, and he was a Muslim. Even this one, the Caliphate, he tortured him. A philosopher, his name is Al-Kindi, in the age of 60, they took off his clothes in the middle of the city and make him naked, and they did slash him or lash him 60 times. And the Muslims were saying, Allahu Akbar, Takbir. And do you know what they said about Ibn Sina? You will never find a Muslim is not proud about Abu Sina, who is a doctor, who is not even an Arab. He is from, he's a Persian originally. Their book says that Ibn Sina was the Imam of the atheist. Same as they said about Abu Bakr al-Razi. So who's left? Who's left? Muslims, who's left? I don't want to read the rest because there's still more. But who's left? Nobody left. But yet in their speeches about scientists, the glorious scientists of Islam, we find that all of those are atheists. You see how they lie to you? This is how they lie. Who's left? I don't know. Nobody. Do we have any Abdul would like to call me live?
And that's why Islam is collapsed.
Thank you.